you were talking about surviving. Obviously, niche publishing is more than just survival because it's difficult. You're finding new markets. Not everybody is willing to pick up a play script that you have published. Tell us a little bit about that journey and really that struggle because, today, of course, as you continue, like any niche publisher to struggle, you still are able to get by perhaps selling one of the bits of art that you've got, K.J. Subramaniam's work. But tell us a little bit about that journey in the initial years and what was it that really drove you to continue to stay with the Seagull philosophy, which today everybody thinks of as a philosophy?
See, when you are actually doing it, there isn't you don't have a kind of, list of do's and don'ts. What you have is the doing of it, right? And so that, and you have a lot of excitement. You cannot resist responding to the material that you wish to publish. So when you started with theatre and cinema, it was a very exciting time for cinema. For example, you had these 10 years of, Satyajit Ray, Benegal, Adur, Minalda, all of these. And so you were publishing that movement, and documenting it. You were doing plays in the English language because that was the link. Not because you thought everybody would perform them, or you didn't know at that point that 30 years later, a lot of them would become life-saving texts in universities and so on and so forth. So at that moment, you're not strategy. There's the strategy I keep saying repeatedly.
Accidental.
No, it's retrospective. Because when things unveil themselves, while they're actually happening, you just find your way intuitively through the whole thing. But there is a particular point where the theatre scripts and the screenplays, which still happen, led to a kind of decision that we took as publishers. We found that our excitement, our aesthetic, both editorial and design, which we could talk about, led us to kind of gently question the status quo of a English-speaking West that insisted you buy and sell only for your country. So even now, most of us are buying rights for the Indian subcontinental at best kind of thing. So we questioned that status quo and we set up a company in the UK called Seagull Books London Limited. It's not a branch, it's an independent publishing house paying its taxes. And we said, no, we are good enough, as is our money, to buy world rights for the kind of books that we wish to do. And that is when this whole international list began. And that's when we found that we were using our translation experience of all those theatre scripts into ferreting out interesting material in European languages, for example. We started with European languages and then moved on. So at that point, the strategy was that English language bookshelves in America and UK did not have what they have now. Translations become very popular now, awards and so on and so forth. But at that point, they were empty because translation didn't pay, which is one of the reasons why I suspect a lot of American publishing didn't put names of translators. And in the film that we've done, Shanandini is very articulate about the politics of what that means. All I'm trying to say is that it's always been an intuitive way forward. It's not entirely idiotic or romantic. There is method as you execute.
But the very